And hello everybody, welcome back to LFC News. I hope you are all well. A good result against Sunderland, of course, at the Stadium of Light in the Premier League. I've been very critical of this team and its level of inconsistency so far this season. And yes, it was good to see some tactical adjustments made as we beat Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. The Stadium of Light has been a tough place to go for a lot of teams so far this season. And whilst I want to see us get some consistency in the Premier League, it's now going to be interrupted with, of course, an FA Cup game this weekend against Brighton. Now, again, the FA Cup is important to us. Again, all the other trophies are important to us. At Liverpool Football Club, you need to be competing for silverware. And even in a bad season, I fully expect us to go out there and lift silverware. FA Cup, Champions League, trying to at least, you can only pray. But the FA Cup could become important, especially with the way that we have been inconsistent in the Premier League and a place in the European spots. However, there has been a bit of a big revelation ahead of the clash against Brighton that I want to dive into, and it could be a bit of a blow for Liverpool because I'm going to get into something that I spoke about at the end of the transfer window. But first, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So guys, as you can see here, Wataru Endo has been, an injury update has been provided. As Arne says, it's clear and obvious that he's going to be out for a considerable amount of time. Endo underwent scans on Thursday to assess the damage he suffered in Liverpool's 1-0 win over Sunderland on Wednesday night and is now due for further tests. But while the club await for a final verdict, it is clear and obvious to Slot that he'll be without his number 3 for the foreseeable. He said, "We still need to do some assessments for the injury, but it's clear and obvious that he will be out for quite a long time." Now, Endo's injury came while filling in at right back with Conor Bradley, Jeremy Frimpong, and the suspended Dominic Szoboszlai all unavailable. Szoboszlai is now obviously eligible to return, while Joe Gomez made his comeback from a 3-game layoff to replace Endo in the second half at the Stadium of Light. But while the right-back situation may temporarily be improved, Slot stressed that Liverpool will feel the loss in other positions too. He said, "Don't forget that he's a good centre-back, a good midfielder as well. And if you look at the number 6 position or the 2 centre-back positions, we're quite vulnerable over there. So what if something happened? So yeah, let's try and make sure that the players we have stay fit now." So yes, guys, go back to my video on transfer deadline day. This is the exact situation that I said when we said that we weren't going after a centre-back. I said that we are going to leave ourselves in a very vulnerable position for not spending and getting the checkbook out in the January transfer window. I said we're one injury away from a disaster. And we've seen the situation with Conor Bradley at right back, but now one of our utility players in Endo. He's been playing all over the park and now he's injured and he's going to be out for a foreseeable future. So again, it's negligence from the board again in the January transfer window. And it shows me that they just chucked this season. Well, what about the Champions League? I said that the games were going to be coming thick and fast and we needed replacements and some quality put into these areas. Because I said that the Champions League, getting into the Champions League spaces is not guaranteed. Obviously, we're seeing some momentum being picked up with the teams around us. But also, go out there and try and win the Champions League. Try and compete for it. So I'm frustrated. And I said, I'd hate to say I told you so, but yeah, another injury. And we're just, again, another injury away from an absolute disaster happening and our whole season capitulating. And that's how serious it's getting.
In other news, Mohamed Salah is increasingly likely to leave Liverpool in the summer, with growing indications that his time at Anfield may be approaching its natural conclusion following a turbulent and transitional campaign. Interest from the Saudi Pro League in the 33-year-old remains strong, and clubs are expected to make renewed and formal approaches once the transfer window opens. Former Manchester United chief scout Mick Brown has suggested that Liverpool may already have an informal understanding in place which would allow Salah to move on at the end of the season. Despite registering 4 assists in his last 5 appearances, Mohamed Salah has not been at his usual clinical best in front of goal. His reduced output and occasional struggles to influence games in the final third have led to growing concern among supporters and within the club's hierarchy. For a player who has set extraordinarily high standards during his time on Merseyside, any sustained dip in form inevitably attracts scrutiny. Under head coach Arne Slot, Liverpool are continuing their squad rebuild and adapting to a new tactical identity. The current campaign has been widely viewed as a period of transition, with several senior figures facing uncertain futures. Within that context, there is an increasing belief that cashing in on Salah, while his market value remains significant, may represent the most pragmatic option. Although his contract runs until 2027, there is a growing sense that the winger could be tempted to bring his Anfield chapter to a close earlier than planned. Speaking recently, Brown suggested that circumstances may now be aligning for a departure. Salah could definitely end up in Saudi Arabia, he said. There's just a feeling that he might be on his way out of Liverpool. He hasn't looked like his usual self, he's not scoring the goals he used to, and he doesn't seem as effective in the way he's being used. It's hard to say exactly what's changed since last season, when he was outstanding, but it's clear things aren't quite right at the moment. It feels like the right time for both sides. I think there might already be an agreement for him to move on at the end of the season. All the issues before the Africa Cup of Nations and everything surrounding him will play a part. He may feel it's time for a fresh start. Saudi clubs have been monitoring Salah's situation closely for several years, and their interest has never fully disappeared. Last summer, he resisted lucrative offers in favour of committing his future to Liverpool, but circumstances now appear different. With the Reds entering a new phase and the player approaching the latter stages of his peak years, the timing may finally suit both parties. Developments in Saudi Arabia could further accelerate any potential move. Ongoing uncertainty surrounding Cristiano Ronaldo and his relationship with Al Nassr has prompted speculation that clubs are already considering high-profile alternatives. Brown previously claimed that Salah would represent an ideal successor, combining elite quality with global superstar appeal. Ronaldo's recent absence from several key fixtures amid reported disagreements over recruitment policy has only intensified rumours about his long-term future. While he is expected to return to action, questions remain over whether his relationship with the club and the league has been permanently strained. Should Saudi officials decide that a new marquee signing is required, Salah would sit near the top of their shortlist. His commercial value, consistency at the highest level, and iconic status across the Middle East make him an exceptionally attractive target. For Liverpool, the coming months may prove decisive. Allowing Salah to leave would mark the end of one of the most successful individual eras in the club's modern history. Since arriving in 2017, he has been instrumental in delivering major honours and restoring the club to Europe's elite. However, football is rarely sentimental. With financial considerations, squad evolution, and long-term planning now central to the club's strategy, the prospect of parting ways with their talisman is increasingly realistic. As the season reaches its climax, attention will inevitably turn to Salah's future. Whether he chooses to extend his legacy at Anfield or pursue a new challenge abroad, the next transfer window looks set to bring one of the most significant decisions of Liverpool's recent history. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. We post all the latest Liverpool news every day, so join our fast-growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.